bring in former NBA great Sacramento Mayor Kevin Johnson, who has been helping out the Players Association through all of this. Let me start with a poll question. Do you think crime, punishment, apropos here with Donald Sterling?
Very, very, very appropriate.
What were the other options you were told?
Well, I think early on, as Commissioner Silver and others were speculating, there was potentially a indefinite suspension, a fine that might only get up to $1 million, and potentially a decision by the owners in their July Board of Governors meeting in Las Vegas. And we were trying to figure out, as a Players Association, was that the maximum that Commissioner Silver could do in terms of sanctions? And the more we understood the bylaws and the more we had access to it, we thought he could go as far as he did. And the owners and the players felt very clearly there must be a change in ownership. And when those words came out, effective immediately, he's banned for life, we just all erupted with applause.
Did you know beforehand, before the announcement at the press conference, that he was going to be banned for life?
I talked to Commissioner Silver a number of times leading up to the press conference. We talked a few minutes before, and I was very pleased with where he was going. And when he delivered the message publicly, it was even stronger. And I think in that one moment, Commissioner Silver became an American hero. I really do.
What were the rest of the players in the NBA willing to do? Those still in the playoffs. We'd heard after the fact with Golden State they were going to walk off the floor. What did you hear, and was any of that relayed to the commissioner prior to his announcement?
Well, Dan, what was interesting is, immediately when these remarks became public, all players spoke out individually through social media. They talked about their outrage. They talked about their disdain. They talked about Mr. Sterling should not be associated with this game. And then after the emotion subsided a little bit, the players said, to me, we want to be very thoughtful, and we want you to communicate these messages to Commissioner Silver. One, we want an immediate investigation. We want him to have due process, but we want an immediate investigation too. We want to make sure players' voices are heard. We don't want to be passive participants. We want to be active and have a seat at this table. And number three, we want the maximum allowable punishment under the NBA bylaws, which essentially means there must be a change in ownership. So that's what I was communicating to the commissioner along the way. We just didn't know what the maximum sanctions could be. At the same time, the players, and if you take the Clippers as the first example, they demonstrated with a silent protest. They, all wore black symbolism in terms of armbands and wristbands and socks, and turned inside out their, warm-up jersey. And then Miami Heat followed suit. In terms of what was next, the players wanted to wait to see what these sanctions were. And they felt very strongly that if Commissioner Silver, if his sanctions were severe enough and led to a new ownership and the removal of this team from Mr. Sterling, that would be exactly what they wanted to do. If that did not happen, then the players were having conversations about boycotting and what that escalation would look like.
But not just Golden State. There are other teams in other playoff series who were willing to walk off the floor?
Yeah, those conversations were happening, Dan. And, again, I'm so thankful that the commissioner listened to the players, he listened to the owners, he listened to the public, and he did the right thing because had he not come out as forceful and as unequivocal, this cloud would have hung over this playoff series for much longer and wouldn't have went away.
Were you advocating boycotting games?
I was not advocating whether players should boycott or not. What I was advocating is allowing Commissioner Silver to speak and judge and give his perspective on what took place. And if you think about it, it was in 72 hours.
Yeah.
Very seldom do you get justice served that quickly. You can't go any quicker than that. And when he came out and, again, was decisive, was swift, left no doubt, and was very clear about the ban. The lifetime ban is something that he could do today. So whether or not there was a sale of the team or not, he was clear that I have the power and authority to institute a lifetime ban. I have the power and authority to fine him the maximum, which is $2.5 million. I have the power and authority to ensure he is never affiliated with the NBA in any shape or form. And I am going to urge the owners for the sale of this team, to force the sale of this team. The players, I was watching this announcement with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Steve Nash and a number of people, and we all just erupted in applause.
He's the mayor of Sacramento, Kevin Johnson, who's been assisting the Players Association through the Donald Sterling situation. He's Kevin Johnson joining us. Anything bother you about the audio and how it was acquired or leaked to the media?
You know, what bothered me about the audio were the comments. I mean, they were reprehensible and unacceptable, and, you know, there has to be zero tolerance for institutional racism, no matter how rich or powerful you are. How they were obtained privately, I have no idea. That'll run its course, but what we do know publicly was reprehensible.
KJ, good to visit with you again, and how's the jumper?
The jumper's good. I got a question for you.
All right.
Memphis, Oklahoma City, who wins that series?
Memphis.
All right, I'll take Oklahoma City for lunch.
By the way, weren't you there in 1993 when I dismantled Dan Marley?
I actually did witness that.
Okay.
I will be a bear. I will be a bearer of I can testify.
Wait! Come on! You don't begrudgingly say that. I took down one of the greatest 3-point shooters in history. You were there. You got a front row seat. I had a suit and tie on that day, KJ.
Yeah, but you exceeded all of our expectations, and Dan underdelivered. So that is what it is.
Good to visit with you. Congrats on yesterday.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, Kevin Johnson, mayor of Sacramento, and a former great point guard of the Phoenix Suns.